Do you ever feel intensely anxious? Ever get the feeling that you're being threatened in some way? That people are watching you or acting against you? Even though there's no proof that it's true, it can happen to any of us. And when it does, we usually wouldn't even think that we are paranoid, because as far as we are concerned, it's all completely true. It usually isn't. It's just our mind playing tricks on us. And we accept it for what it is, and we move on with our lives. But what if we don't? Like, for example, I don't know, a call for an uprising? Well, stick around, and we'll find out.
Go nuts on my nuts.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I want to cover this artist known as Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran? I think he means Ed Sheeran.
I'm not too familiar with him, but I just became familiar with him after watching some of these award shows this year and exposing the Illuminati symbolism in those shows. I've noticed that this guy has become extremely popular, and of course that is not by coincidence.
Expose? You couldn't expose yourself if you were wearing a Flasher's Mac. And of course it's not by coincidence. It's by hard work and providing people with music they want to hear.
So I started to look into him a little bit more to see some of the signs and the symbols within his music videos, things posted on him that he's posted himself, interviews on talk shows, and you come up with the same stuff that you always see.
Well, you may well come up with these things, but to the average person on the street, they're just not there.
It's not a surprise that this is another Illuminati puppet who's being pushed through the mainstream. Remember now, they don't always have to come across as rugged or trashy. They could be guys who sing love songs. They have to bring people in from every different angle. That's why they're in every single genre.
So it's not just Ed Sheeran that's an Illuminati puppet, it's all musicians. Well, that makes it way more believable.
And it's not by surprise, it's by design. It always is by design. And I want to show you this guy's symbolism that he uses, which shows you who he's aligned with, because it's all the same symbols over and over. These are symbols that common people wouldn't use in their day-to-day life. Would you walk around taking photos, putting a hand over your eye?
Not a chance.
Every time somebody says cheese, or when you're put on a magazine cover, or you're doing a photo shoot, would you deliberately do 666 hand symbolism and have it in your album and, in your thumbnails, and you doing it yourself? Of course not. This is how they communicate. Signs and symbols rule the world because these people communicate through signs and symbols while the rest of the masses are dumbed down and not looking for these things because the school system doesn't educate people to look for these things. They're constantly putting us in an alpha state of mind so we do not pick up on these things.
So musicians don't communicate through the medium of song. Maybe that's what I've been going wrong all these years. I thought the message was in the song.
But I'm going to do my best here to show you
things that aren't actually there.
Some of the signs and symbols that show that this guy is aligned with the New World Order, just like everyone else, that he's a puppet for them. And he's no different than anybody else in the music industry or in Hollywood that gets pushed to the mainstream.
Right, just so I know that I'm following you. The New World Order, which is a conspiracy theory in itself, which hypothesizes a secretly emerging totalitarian world government, has Ed Sheeran and all the other musicians and actors and actresses in the world working for them to do what exactly?
So right off the bat, not a surprise, this is always the common theme, right? You see him doing the all-seeing eye, holding a hand up over his eye. Is this just a coincidence? Is this why there's so many collages out there that you can see of actors and musicians holding a hand over their eye?
Okay, pro tip, do not ever Google why are there so many photographs of celebrities covering one eye, because you will not get that 3 hours of your life back. And I know this may be a strange concept to all the conspiracy theorists that happen across this video, but the honest answer is, nobody really seems to know. But have you ever thought that maybe they're just taking the mick because of people like you saying that there's a reason they do it? And that reason being that they're all secretly affiliated to the Illuminati? And to be perfectly honest, as a fully paid up member myself, I'm getting pretty sick of it. I'd know them.
When these people go on photo shoots, these photographers are supposedly the highest paid photographers in the world. Oh, they're so glamorous and glorious photographers. Oh, they all just ask them to do the same poses over and over by coincidence. Hey, I really love when people hold a hand over their eye. Can you do that?
Or something which may be way more feasible is that all these high-end photographers who work in the same circles probably know of each other, if not know each other quite well, and they've got together, they're having a beer and they're chatting about work. and they've decided that because there are so many idiots like you claiming that celebrities, musicians, actors and actresses are all Illuminati puppets, it would be great fun to tease you by making sure that whenever they do a photo shoot with these high-end celebrities, that they get a shot of them covering one eye, because it clearly triggers you massively.
Okay, cool. Sure, it sounds fun. It sounds cool. Can you hold up the 666 too over your eye? Oh, okay, cool.
So does that mean that most deep-sea divers are Illuminati puppets as well? Because this symbol in diving circles means, are you okay? Or I am okay. It's a way of communicating when you cannot use words, as well as most English-speaking countries recognizing it as the gesture for okay. And on that note, it's time for an ad break. Okay?
Go nuts on my nuts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Playing a Blinder, where you can watch a middle-aged Welshman slowly losing the will to live. I mean, can this get any more stupid? Yes, it can.
And the masses just don't see the common themes here. But you can see him holding up his hand over his eye. The all-seeing eye. He's doing the all-seeing eye of Lucifer. This is a common theme we see throughout the Illuminati and these puppets who work for them. You can also see him holding up what appears to be a triangle piece of chocolate.
No, please, not Toblerone. You mean to tell me that Toblerone is an evil Illuminati tool as well?
His album covers and his names of his albums are very, very coded. Some of which are really obvious. You'd think people would pick up on it and see it, but unfortunately they don't. Now, like I always talk about, these people always are paying homage to the Freemasons. When we see the black and white tie and all that stuff, we do see Sheeran here playing a guitar.
Now, I'll be the first to admit that my eyesight isn't brilliant, but those are grey and white, not black and white, and it's Sheeran.
We also have an album entitled The Orange Room. Orange in numerology is 33. So he's saying the 33 room. That's what orange means. Orange is a coded color, which means 33. So
Numerology? Why didn't you say? Idiot. Have you not heard of self-deprecating humour? The Orange Room? Ed Sheeran is extremely ginger.
So he's paying homage to 33, as we all know how symbolic that number is to the New World Order, to these Freemasons. We also see another album entitled X. And I've covered this many times. X is a common symbol. It represents the Antichrist. It is representative of the transformation that is to come. You will see this all the time. All of these artists always are making symbols or references to X's, whether they're holding X's up with their arms, whether there's signs behind them with an X on it. Like Carrie Underwood, I just recently covered. So many of these artists. It's a subliminal symbol. It is representative of the transformation and the mark of the beast.
Or could it just be that he labelled his first album Plus with a solid coloured orange because he thought it would make it stand out from others on the store shelves? Multiply and Divide were designed to follow the same concept. The titles have more subtle meanings as well. Plus, because it added to the collection of songs he had previously released on his 5 EPs. Multiply, because it was hoped that the album would multiply the success he'd found on Plus and make it even bigger. And Divide, because the tracks were divided so that no two in a row were similar. Ed Sheeran has jokingly referred to this as his schizophrenic album. So that should be a favourite amongst conspiracy theorists then.
Okay, and the arrival and the acceptance of the Antichrist. So his album is just entitled X. His other album is titled 33 Room. And then, of course, you get another album by this guy, his latest one, which is called Divide. Now, I always talk about what's the agenda here. All people who talk about and expose the New World Order, divide and conquer, order out of chaos. So what a coincidence, his album, his newest album, is called Divide, and he uses the division sign to dumb down the masses more.
No, it isn't a coincidence at all. It was very intentional. He wanted all the albums to have a mathematical theme. Plus, multiply, divide. And Divide was called Divide because it was originally intended to be a double album, but it just didn't work out that way.
So they think that, oh, well, his last album was an X, so he loves multiplication. Now it's Divide. He must really love math.
There we go, you're getting it now. That's exactly why the albums have been named the way they have.
Divide and multiplication. Give me a break. This is what people think that these symbols mean.
No, now calm down. This isn't what people think the symbols mean. That is what Ed Sheeran says. The thimbles? There's no thimbles? That is what Ed Sheeran says the symbols mean. He wanted his album names to have a mathematical theme, which they have.
Anytime they do the 666, the A-OK is what the masses think it is. It is not. This is 666, and it's not the only time you see it. One of his recent songs he released happens to have the thumbnail with the 666 sign.
I'm not going to point out that the song is called Perfect.
You can see it right there. And you can see what he's doing here. Another one of the symbols he has is the black and white of the piano. Why do you think it's black and white? Because they love those colors?
Well, no, it's because it would be really difficult to play the piano if all the keys were the same color. And the white notes are full tones and the black notes are half tones or semitone.
Yeah, it is. Because they believe in duality. It's esoteric. It's there for a reason.
I'm finding this all very confusing. He does realize that Ed Sheeran didn't invent maths, and he most definitely didn't invent the piano or choose the colors for the keys.
So those are symbols that he's throwing around. We can also see him throwing up the devil horns in photographs with other celebrities, not a surprise. Sitting next to a guy who's throwing up the pyramid as he's throwing up his hands almost in a cube formation. I mean, this is all common. It's the same stuff we see over and over. And it's amazing to me that when you see the same things repeated over and over by these celebrities, these musicians, that people can't wake up and see that they are a part of the secret cabal, that they are at the bottom of the barrel. They are the puppets, but they are rewarded with fame and wealth here on Earth, and they do their bidding.
So look, I've got to ask this question. You all know what I do here on YouTube. I basically point and laugh at things I think are really stupid, and today's video is no exception. But if Ed Sheeran and other celebrities are part of a secret cabal, how exactly is it that you seem to think that you know so much about that secret cabal? Because the whole idea behind a secret is nobody except those involved in keeping that secret knows about it.
They're not the ones who are deciding what the album name is going to be or the album cover. Their handlers are. But they're the ones out there brainwashing the masses.
Says the man who has a YouTube channel with over 500,000 subscribers filled with nonsense exactly like this. Now this video goes on and on and on.
Hours later.
And on and on and on. But I don't feel the need to torture you any further, so I am going to link this one below because with any luck he'll see it. I'm sure he's gonna love my tattoo. So, if you've made it this far into the video, you've obviously had a good time. So you may just as well smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Or the dislike button. It really doesn't make much difference either way. Engagement's engagement. Please hit the like button. Please, my entire self-worth is based on how many people like my videos. Bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe by ordering a Creaky blind.